the police officers to continue to make arrests. That's what Law and Order is about. If you listen to the introduction of the original Law and Order, you'll see they talk about two systems of work.
Right. Sure.
One that enforces the laws, the other that interprets laws.
And these are their stories.
And these are their stories. A fortunate failure. Because if these laws were not broken, that judge who lives in Kenilworth would be a lawyer who had to move back into the city.
That's right.
Because he has to hustle. Yeah. Those lawyers, because the market is crowded, will have to either have to go into education, which many of them do, or they become police officers. But if it's not enough crime committed, those police officers become security guards.
That's right. So baby, what else you get? You
so
get
I'm boring too, huh?
Yeah. You what? What else you get over there?
I'm wrapping it up that of all the states,
Wait,
I
Brian,
respectfully.
Brian, don't wrap it up yet. I just want to give you one comment before you wrap it up, okay? Someone is saying, learned behavior teaches us that the homeless are lazy on drugs, and we buy into this misinformation. Like Tracy was saying, we do not see the children involved in homelessness, and also that the throwaway food is for a write-off.
And so basically what you just said is that that's the perception that they have, is that, that there's lazy and stuff like that. And the bad thing about it is that, the news gives such a bad perception about homelessness or minorities as it is. I don't even watch it anymore. But the fact of the matter is that, what they're saying is that it's true. You're so worried now about somebody actually suing you for something. You don't even want to give them the food because the people there that are buying it, they understand, or you're not worried about them suing you, even though they can as well. But you're worried about throwing it away, which usually once you throw it away, it's you don't have to worry about it. But if you give it to someone as you're throwing it away, they have a ability to sue you, and that's how messed up the law is to me. That we're so concerned about legalities that we're not concerned about people anymore.
That was a good point. But as I was going to wrap this up and say that the state that has the most people that's homeless is in New York. And I don't know why I was shocked with that, because I thought it would be California because it's so huge and everything. But New York, and I didn't see us on the radar here. But when you go through Wacker Drive, Lower Wacker Drive, you see us on the radar.
Yeah.
And I know a person that's sweet, as sweet could be. She cooked for them. She go down a Lower Wacker Drive. She gave them the best Christmas party. I mean, table was set up outside.
And who is this? Give her a name. Go ahead, girl.
Dewana Roby.
Dewana Roby. That's an awesome woman right there.
She catered to her.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away because they got some gifts that we probably didn't even give. But I believe that it's the pride in them. Like what Sir Walter was saying, the man wouldn't take the money. That's one thing that people who had the money, who fell off their throne, they have a lot of pride, and they won't take that money. They don't take the hand.
There's also mental illness.
Yeah, that was one.
And you mentioned that, Yeah, she mentioned that. And Chicago have a lot of shelters. I do a lot of work with them. New York has just like they did the stop and frisk. New York cleaned up a lot of their streets. They don't want the homeless there. Okay, Chicago has turned it over to the churches and the community to clean it up. The government's saying we're going to take our hands out of it. So your church, you adopt this neighborhood and you clean it up.
And it's so hard. People think it's so easy just to get into a shelter, but it's not. Like I say, have worked in public housing and mixed income, and people will come in that are homeless, and I've called shelters for them, and it's hard to get you in there.
Absolutely. Because you have so many people who are homeless, and you don't have enough shelters to provide for them, and so it's amazing how we could be such of a wealthy world and such a wealthy country, but yet we look down on those who need our assistance, so much so that we'll give up on them, and even though we have enough money to provide for all of them. Yeah. I mean, when you're in a society where 1% is more wealthier than 99% of the world, that means we have the money and the ability to take care of things, but we don't.
Okay, babe. That's where and go to the haves and the have-nots. That 1% is the elite group, and they don't want that 99%. And it's just sad to say, but that's what it is. Now, let's get to the climax of tonight.
Yeah, we got to get to that. And she running the show now, y'all. So we almost at the end of here. But that's why I like 2 hours, Walter, because this 1 hour goes back quick. But we're going to
talk an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Ain't that something like that? Hey, Tracy Howard will not be back next week.
As long as I'm here, Tracy's here.
And Brenda won't be back as well, so I'm looking for 2 new people. Let me see. We're going to be talking about...
You on Wicker Park, baby.
On the final thing, we're going to be talking about Reverend Meeks being voted in as being the chairman of education. Now, I know a lot of people said some things over there, and I got Alvin over here that's ready to rhyme in, and so I'm going to let him say something. But I want to say this before we go. I was a minister at Salem Baptist Church before, and I'm not a person that's on Meek's side. He knows in himself that I've disagreed with him with a lot of different things. I'm not a Meek's person. I'm not people, they were writing some nasty things about the man. There were some good things about him and some nasty things, Uncle Tom and all kinds of nasty things about it. And as a preacher, I got offended because I was a preacher. But I'm not a Meek's person where I'm going to stand on his side. Wrong is wrong and right is right. But let me just say this much about Reverend Meeks is running as a person as the chairman of the Board of Education. People are saying he's not educated enough. Now, he has an education. So let me tell you something. Do you realize that 11 of the presidents of the United States had no degrees?
Right.
11 of them had no degrees whatsoever. Do you realize that right now in 2015, 1 out of every 20 congressmen have no degree whatsoever? They're making policies and procedures for you today. And not only do they have no degree, they have no legal background whatsoever. That means that 169 members of the House have no legal or educational background past a college degree. And 57% of them have no degree. Mm-hmm. He has a degree. Now, I hear some of y'all people, and I'm letting my boy get in here in a second. I hear some of y'all people saying that he's not qualified. But I will say this much. The person who's not 100% backer of Reverend Meeks, he has a passion for what he's doing. And I can tell you one thing for sure, that people that are talking against him is not going to stop him from doing it. The main thing that I know that this man will do is he's going to fight for the equality of education for African Americans, minorities, in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. If you don't like that, you can dislike the man, call him an Uncle Tom, say anything negative you want about him. But I know that this man has a passion for education. And sometimes we've seen it already in the White House, that education doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get things done. Because we got a man in office right now that has a passion and the education. The smartest president in the world, and he can't get anything done. So I'm going to say, I'm gonna be on the Meeks bandwagon until he falls. Now, when he falls and he don't do what he says, I'll get right back on this mic and say, man, he didn't do what he's supposed to do. But I tell you this much, I know he's got a passion for education, and he's gonna fight to make sure the equality is for education in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. Man, what you got to say about that?
Let me ask you a
question. Cut
him off. No. Would you let a very intelligent, degreed veterinarian perform heart surgery on you?
No.
And he understands because in the aid of it, as an advocate for that, because a veterinarian has operated on a pig and a cow, and the internal organs are almost identical.
Yeah.
But would you let him perform heart surgery?
I'm going to tell you something. If I was somewhere and I had no other choice but to have,
we got other choices.
Okay, but you
no. You just answered my question.
You don't have another choice.
Now you're playing the Meeks game. You being a politician.
No, you don't have another choice. You don't have another because he's in there.
Okay,
he's
we
in
both
there.
loud. Here's my point. Education, to be a teacher, is more than just going to school and getting the credentials.
Yeah.
It's a science. It's a profession. There's methods. There's techniques. There's a specific skill set that is required to do this job effectively.
Right.
That's why so many people leave the field, because they thought it was easy until they get into it. And so many people from the outside looking in are setting policy. That's just like a person who says, oh, I've learned the science of reading music, and I understand that this note means that, but it takes years of practice to become proficient at it. Or people who say, oh, I can have a conversation on radio. It's not that easy.
No, it's not.
It's not that easy. So for people on the outside looking in, setting policy for things that they have no profession in, and then they blame the teachers when it doesn't work, when it's really the policy setters. So the problem I have, I appreciate, and I've always understood him to say that he wanted equal education for all people across the level. But then why is it that he's the one appointed versus someone who is skilled and understands education from the ground up?
But you can
now, if he had once been a teacher, I would have been waving his hand. I would have stood on the pole and said, woo, woo, woo.
Anybody that can say that there's more qualified. Hey, there's a person more qualified for your job right now that is not in there. But that doesn't mean that because they're more qualified, they're going to give the same passion and commitment to what you're doing. You have a commitment of that. And I say he has a strong commitment for what he's doing. Now, I just told you got congressmen and stuff like that. And ain't got no education.
Bob, you
and
can have
whatever.
a whole lot of passion for baseball, but you never hit over 222 average.
And then you be a manager like everybody else is. But and
that's exactly what's happening. He's a manager, but not a true game player.
Okay, but let me tell you something. I don't know if he's going to be a true game player or not, but the man is in there. And as long as he's in there, if he does what he's supposed to do, everybody's going to say, well,
that's a token job, because the job of education is done on the House and the Senate floor.
Okay, but
because those are laws. That's when the laws are made.
So where's the laws come at before that? Because you have people that token laws before that.
Those laws are made by the senators, and whoever the senator sponsors the bill.
But before those laws come into the senator, who takes care of them from there?
What do you mean? Who takes care of it?
You have lobbyists that take care of
the
laws
lobbyists.
And stuff
Exactly.
They present the law. So if he's going to be a lobbyist, that he can bring forth education to those senators and those men, that he can say that this is the way. For that matter,
he was already a state senator. He still had that power then.
Yeah, and he does. But he's that's because he's not a state senator now. He can still be a person of education that can make sure that education runs to the way they want.
He lives up to your expectation, but I'm not going to be
It ain't my expectation. I will say this much. Meeks, to me, I'll say this, and probably going to get a lot of people hate me. They're already saying things about, I don't go to Salem Baptist Church. They're already saying some things about why I'm not.
People don't go no more.
Why? Oh, yeah, there you go. A lot of people are already saying about why I'm not going there. The reason why, the rumors are much better than the truth. I like the rumors.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, it is. But let me tell you this. A lot of people are going to say some negative things and rumors are going to be about him. But the truth is the man has a passion for what he's doing. And I don't agree with everything he does, but I know that he has a passion for it, and that passion can be a perception that is going to make education grow.
One of the most crucial times of education is early child care.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he allow, or even, I don't know if he allowed them or not, but one of the first things on Rauner's agenda was to eliminate child care initiative. Those formative years, laying the foundation. And child care is very important for the economy as well as the social development of children and families alike. So that was a huge blow to education.
But, it's a huge blow to education, but you realize that is that may be one of his procedures of what he wants to do, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Now, that means that they're discussing it right now to the possibility of doing something like that. But if it's something that I believe that Meeks does not want to be done, he will speak against it. Now, Rauner still has the final say-so. So we've got to remember one thing. He still has the final say-so for what happens in education.
Those members on that floor have the final say-so.
What is Rauner?
He's the governor.
No, he's a Republican.
Oh.
And what do we have right now in the state of Illinois more than anything else? So Rauner has the last decision of what's going to happen. As long as the Republicans...
I'm speaking through the eyes of the law. You speaking politics.
Yeah, but the eyes of the laws and politics, what you see is what you get. The Republicans are head of this thing. And so as long as he is the head, the Republicans are going to make sure that they get what he wants because they have the vote. And that's the terrible thing about Congress and government. They always fighting each other about something. Nobody's concerned about doing the right thing. It's just what I want to do.
That's the problem with the party system.
Yeah. Walter, what you got? Anybody else got to say? Because me and him go left and right, back and forth.
Well, y'all can finish that on the video. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you and I make a deal. And you got in. Now you gotta pay up, Doc.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all. That's what we see.
And see, I was gonna say the same thing. That was it. You got to
pay up. I do agree.
I'm waiting to see what Brooks is gonna get.
I do agree. He's a passionate man because I used to do his secret services right next door in the gym.
Yeah,
and I know the man quite well.
Yeah,
he loves God and he loves the people.
Right.
But still, a job is a job.
Man, I'm gonna go on a limb right now, real limb. Ooh, Jesus, I'm gonna go on a limb.
I wonder how much mortgage forgiveness was offered.
Oh man, you being wrong. Shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I don't know what Meeks has done, and I'll say this: if he's done something behind the back, then I don't agree with that. But I will tell you this much: if everything that he's done is wrong, still gets a right result in that. Education for children in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago is improved and equal, I think he can live with that. Okay. I don't think he's concerned about his name. You can say anything negative about you want to because he's a man of God and he knows that God loves him. It says, for God be with me, who could be against me? So if God is with him, that's all he has to worry about. But I will say this much. I believe he has a passion. He's going to have to show that passion now.